guys! Okay, so I bought 2 packs of this brand of hair for $4.99 each. Technically, you can use any type of faux locks to do the technique that I'm showing you, but I like this one because they were thick and they were shiny. So it's 18 inches, which I stretched out to be a little longer, and make sure it's crochet because that's going to make it easier to separate. This is how one lock looks fresh out the package. I just wanted to show you the difference between the before and after. So the one that I created, it's a little longer. As you can see, I said that I stretched it, and mine is a little more jagged, a little more worn in looking than the uniform one that came straight out the package. Let's get started. We're going to take the crochet end. So it's going to be a little hole, a little opening there. And you're going to use both hands to unravel it all the way down to the end as such. As you unravel it, you can see all the different lumps and bumps, and we like that. That's what we need to achieve the messy look. Of the 2 ends, you're going to want to keep the good end that has everything all together, still wound up tightly, compared to the one that's separated like this. I'll call that the bad end. We take the section of hair, split it in 2, then place the lock in between those 2 sections. Now we're just going to do a 3-strand braid with your natural hair around the lock. So you're not using the lock at all. You're taking your natural hair and just braiding on the outside of it as tightly as you can to keep the lock in place and to keep it as close to your scalp as possible. To make it easier for when I uninstall, I just braid about 1 inch or 2 of my natural hair and then twist the rest of the way down. You're more than welcome to braid it all the way down, but there's really no need to, and you'll be frustrated when you have to unravel all of that. Since the lock wasn't braided in your hair, you should be able to move it up and down through that little opening that you just created. We're going to take the good end and stretch it all the way out to your desired length. I just grab one of my already done locks so that I can make sure they're around the same length. And yep, just stretch it on through. Right, so I threw that back, and you will have the long good end and then the short end. The short end is the one we're going to use to wrap around. Take the bad end, which is the short one, and we're going to wrap that around your hair and the good end. Make sure it's tight around the root, so I do it a couple of times, maybe 3-4 times. Maybe I did it more than that, but I just like it to be secure. So you're going to continue to wrap it on down as tightly as you can. You want this beginning part at least to be really tight to the scalp. This shouldn't hurt at all. We of course want to keep our edges, so don't do it so tight in the beginning that it is actually pulling on your hair. Just do it tight enough so that it looks like it's connected to the root. Once I get a good 3 inches or so down, I take a little sliver of hair and tie it around the lock twice just to secure the tightness. And then we're going to continue to wrap the hair around. So at this point of the bad end, I just separate it into two because as you can see, it's kind of separating on its own anyway. So I separate it into two and I just use 1/2 of it because that'll give us a little more length and a little more of that bad end to keep using. So we're going to keep wrapping around. Once the first half of that bad end runs out, we're going to put that back in with the rest of the hair, take the other longer end of the bad hair, and we're going to wrap that around. You'll just see if it's hard for you to understand because I don't even think I'm explaining it good enough. But hey, that's why I have the video, so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully that's a little more helpful. Another thing that I definitely want to mention is since we did the double knot closer to the top where we secured the tightness towards the root, you don't have to be tight anymore. You don't have to wrap it around tightly, loosen up, and that's what's going to create the bulgy effect or the lumps, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you can do it really loose now because we don't really care if it unravels a little, that's still cute. So just loosely wrap it around and let some of the bumps show. If you see a nice little curl or a little lump or something when you're twisting, you just wrap around it. We're getting to the very end of the bad end, and you're just going to keep twisting it and wrapping it and let it blend on in. Since it's all twisted in the same direction, it just blends along with the rest of the lock. And then we leave the rest of the lock as is. For this, I wanted it to be a little messier than it already was, so I just unraveled it a little. You do not have to do that. But yeah, that's it. You can see I can twist it, move it. It does not hurt. That is the whole look. Now I'm going to show you a couple different ways that I style it. Now I'm basic, so don't judge me. I don't get really intricate with the hairstyles. I'll either leave it down or I'll put it in a ponytail like this. Sometimes I'll wear a low ponytail. I really do like the look of this one. And this is how I do my messy bun. I get questions on this all the time in person, so I figured why not include this in the video. For the uninstall, we're going to look for that short end wherever that ends. You're going to try to basically separate that and unravel it from the longer end. Now, once it's a little worn in, it's going to be a little more difficult because it kind of gets knotted in together after a while, but you'll find it. And so, yeah, you're going to pull it on through because once you get to the part that we knotted or double knotted, you're going to have to pull the long end through that little hole. And unravel it all the way up. I just had to take a moment to pin my hair back because it started to annoy me with all of this hair being in my face. Right, when you get a hold of that long end, you'll be able to find your hair, and then you're just basically going to untwist the end and then unbraid it. Looks like my dog 20 wanted to say hi. And that is it. It's super easy to uninstall. And that's how I do my messy goddess faux locks. Thank you all so much for watching.